With silverware in hand, now the question is, can they add to it? As we kick off this EAFC Super Cup final, as Napoli, the champions of Italy, take on the reigning holders of Coppa Italia, Bologna. And for Napoli, arriving at this stage, having beaten Milan in the semi-final, getting a goal from Rasmus Højlund, who was also the key influence for the goal that was eventually scored by David Neres, the opener in the game. A comprehensive performance from Antonio Conte's side. And for Bologna, a side that came into their game against Inter as underdogs. They give up a goal inside 2 minutes, but they still come back to draw the game and then win on penalties. The goalkeeper was just on the ball, Federico Ravaglia, with a couple of key moments in the shootout. Matteo Bonetti's alongside me. Matteo, what stands out to you about this match?
Fascinating tactical battle. Napoli have been so organized like they were against Milan, but against Bologna, we already have a sample size of how these two teams fared when they played each other back on November 9th in Serie A. That was a Bologna 2-0 win at home. This is more of a neutral territory. And Bologna, it doesn't matter who they're facing, whether it's Pisa or Napoli, they're always going to play the same style, a signature of the Vincenzo Italiano brand. High pressure, high line, loads of balls whipped into the box, and tons of wing play.
And Cambiaghi will be one of those wingers, was the target of that ball from Jens Odgaard, but is recovered by Napoli.
I think Cambiaghi is one of those underrated young Italian players. Came over from Empoli. Very good in one-on-one. He's quick, he's technical. There's not many Italian players with those characteristics. Probably the most well-known one at the moment is Federico Chiesa. Those wingers that are always looking to take you on one-on-one with pace and trickery.
Riccardo Orsolini on the other side is another prolific deliverer of goals, in particular for this Bologna team. There's Antonio Conte, who admired not just the win, but the style of his team. He says our style of play is not to just sit back and defend. They are proactive and aggressive in their press. They've made it uncomfortable for opponents to play. But space opening up for Odgaard, who hits that early ball towards Santiago Castro, but Milinkovic-Savic will get to it first. Just that daring there from Jens Odgaard, who was often the string puller from more advanced positions for this Bologna team. Now Federico Ravaglia continues to fill in for Łukasz Skorupski. Although at this point it's not really filling in so much as competing with Skorupski for the ability to be the starter, the hero of the semi-final, making key saves in the shootout. From Bastoni and Boni. It was not exactly an exhibition of top-level penalty taking in that semi-final, but Italiano's men got over the line. In some ways, he is the central character for this Bologna team. Vincenzo Italiano came over from Fiorentina, took over from Thiago Motta, a coach who was rated rather highly, having gotten Bologna to the Champions League. Italiano has certainly made this his own and then only gone and added a trophy to it.
And it looks like right now it's Torbjorn Hegem on Rasmus Højlund. Lukumi's going to have his hands full with Neres. Lukumi's one of the better center backs in the league, and unsurprisingly, a lot of big teams in Serie A have been on his trails. Bologna will try desperately to keep hold of him. Given the last 2 summers, Bologna have lost their best center back, Riccardo Calafiori, to Arsenal 2 summers ago. And then last summer, Sam Bochum went to Napoli. We're able to buy 2 young center backs with the money from Bochum, one of them playing Hegem. The other one has been injured, but back on the bench, Martin Vitic.
Poorly judging the bounce at Rachmani, and then going down in the penalty area is Cambiaghi. Referee says no penalty, despite the fact that Rachmani was on the wrong side there. That's a high boot as well from Rasmus Højlund. It's going to be giving us a free kick in his favor, though.
We'll see another look at that as Cambiaghi utilizing that pace to get in the box. Dangerous high boot, but more towards his own teammate, as Miranda went high and caught Ferguson. And here's Cambiaghi just trying to get the positioning. Was there enough contact there? Got a better look at it now. Cambiaghi just does want to get around. Was there enough contact there? Did the pullback warrant Cambiaghi going down? Looked like he might have made a meal of it, to be totally honest.
Let's bring in our rules expert, Christina Unkel, on this one. Christina, not a lot of contact there. We see the referee waving play on. Is that the correct decision in your view?
That is the correct decision. One of the biggest things is like that severity of that pull and the pullback. Yes, there's arms touching, but it does not rise to the level of a clear and obvious error. And actually, the preferred decision is no penalty here. So it's good for VAR to say check complete and move on. Thank
you, Christina. Will be with us for the duration of this broadcast, looking at all the close decisions in the game. Stanislav Lobotka giving it back from Neres. Slide back to Matteo Politano. Pins a good cross in. Declaring the response there from Emil Holm. It was Elmas who was waiting for it on the back stick.
Nothing better than when her own Christina Unkel agrees with what I said. Become a bit of a peacock myself. Flex my feathers. Puts a bit of confidence.
You know your laws, Matteo.
I'm trying, but I'm not a former referee.
Neres trying that flick on, but it looks promising here for Bologna to break. Cambiaghi being harried here by Neres. Will carry here to the corner and try the cross off the back of Di Lorenzo.
It's going to be a tough matchup for Di Lorenzo. And you see David Neres, good for him. He's coming back, trying to put the double on Cambiaghi. That could be a really tricky matchup for Di Lorenzo now that he's in his 30s. He used to maybe have the pace 5-6 years ago, but it'll be a tricky matchup for anyone in the league. So it's going to require a lot of work rate from Neres to come back and help out the veteran.
Now a chance for Miranda to deliver into the heart of that 6-yard box, and Højlund read it well. Manages to repel. Højlund coming off of maybe his best performance in a Napoli shirt was the
absolutely
influential player in the victory against Milan.
He was so good. He was really did whatever he wanted with the center back. Conny de Winter of Milan, who was playing for the injured Matteo Gabbia. Just the hold up play, the strength back to goal, the quick turn and finish. That looked like the very best version of Rasmus Højlund. The only question is, can he do that consistently, or will he even get the chance now that Romelu Lukaku is back from injury? Doesn't have a full 90 minutes yet, but might start seeing some time in the second half.
Shouts for handball there from Gianluca Comi, but on goes Rasmus Højlund, opening it up into the space here for Leonardo Spinazzola. Getting the cross in, Højlund was the target, but Hegem repels McTominay back through the box, and Højlund, being well offside, lets it run.
That's 2 balls now that Hegem's been able to head away for safety for Bologna. Spinazzola still got the pace, loves getting forward.
Does well playing off that left side despite being a right-footed player. Can sometimes be awkward for a full-back, but Spinazzola makes it work and can often deliver dangerous crosses with both feet. Here's Stanislav Lobotka. Starts a second consecutive game. Wonder how much
great ball.
Push his minutes. That's a lovely ball there. And as well from Højlund. Neres has gotten beyond Lukumi. Neres trying to poke it towards Elmas, but he couldn't squeeze it through with the outside of the boot. So Politano will try instead and give back to Neres, who crosses. And it deflects, and Lukumi able to deal with it.
And how many times has that ball in behind to Neres worked out ever since he's gotten this string of starts? He's going up against one of the better center backs in the league, John Lukumi, but he was burned for pace. Neres, so explosive, is giving them a real dynamic presence in the front line. And has only really seen time ever since Kevin De Bruyne went down with injury. Conte had to switch away from the 4 central midfield look that was putting McTominay out wide on the left, and it's gone with this more offensive look. A lot of times Noah Lang and Neres flanking the striker. Today Elmas, who's a player that likes to float around the main man, not a pure winger.
McTominay carrying forward and finding a good ball to Elmas. Here's Elmas! Oh. So many options, the pass, the far post. He tried the near, but sent it off target.
Oh, and this is one that Elmas has to put on target. Give Ravaglia something to work with. McTominay saw that ball. Oh, he had loads of separation there, Elmas, against Holm. Holm, the left back, was trailing the entire time. Hegem was desperately trying to shift across, but That is poor positioning from the Napoli backline. How did they let Elmas get through in so much space? Was Home not ready? Conte knows it. That is a brilliant chance, but one that Elmas trying to be cheeky with that near post finish. He's got to put that one on target, Chris.
He was halfway to celebrating Antonio Conte. He thought there was no way Elmas couldn't score. You must give a lot of credit, though, to McTominay for the pass that he finds there into that space as Odegaard is the one shoved over. Pobega racing to it and does get to it. Invites Orsolini into the play and goes running beyond him. Orsolini, drawing the attention of two, will lift a cross in. Will come all the way through, but just too much of it for Odegaard to control into the stride of striking, but can still keep it. And does so with Juan Miranda. Now Ferguson. Emil Holm. Orsolini has been tremendous this season. Top goal scorer in the side with 9 in all competitions. Adds another in the semi-final from the penalty spot.
Amazing return for a winger. I mean, he could be on pace for over 20 goals in all competitions. Those are incredible numbers. Always goes to knock on the camera. Probably thinks he should be getting a lot more time in the national team now under Gennaro Gattuso. And if he keeps up his goal scoring, he's got a good point. Italy, of course, with those playoff matches. First against Northern Ireland. That's at home. And then the tricky one if they get through away to either Wales, Bosnia.
It's going to be tough. Cambiaghi. And Politano judging that forward pass well.
Oh, great step in there by Lukumi. Read that pass all the way. He is aggressive. And Bologna nearly lost him at the end of the summer transfer window. There was links to the Premier League, but they had to hold tight. They did not want to lose both Sam Bokuma and John Lukumi in the same transfer window. And he has been brilliant.
And the challenge will be on again to keep him. It was Sunderland who was in for him at the close of the transfer window. Højlund receiving in the penalty area, but you can see harried in full there by Torbjorn Hegem. Politano in behind Di Lorenzo. Lovely low cross. Small window to get those passes through, but it was Lewis Ferguson who had to have it covered at the near post.
Napoli are getting so much success in these wide areas. Constantly creating chances. Elmas had a brilliant one. Lots of balls whipped into the box.
Politano lifting into that near post, strongly away there from Castro. Striker coming back to do the defensive work, and Ferguson has to clear it off of Elif Elmas. It is throwing deep in their own end and will have to escape Napoli pressure. Was a suggestion in the build-up to this match from the president of Serie A that we're moving back to the old format next year of just the league champion and cup champion. Turns out the Supercoppa gave us that anyway, after Bologna beat Inter and Napoli beat Milan. Challenge to the back there of Castro.
You always hear from teams that the schedule is getting too congested, especially the ones that are having to play European competitions. You have the Coppa Italia, Serie A, and then you add in that extra semi-final right in the middle of the season and one of the most congested parts of the calendar.
Header well won there from Pobega. Bologna in the midst of a Europa League campaign. Napoli in the Champions League. Both sides have been a bit up and down. Well, pressure here for Jesus playing back with Milinkovic-Savic. Had to get that right. Just about did. Neres. opening up the play for Elmas very neatly. The best chance of the game so far. As well to get inside of home. We'll keep going and take the strike on. And hit it at Ravaglia, who had to be on top of it.
Elmas has always been brilliant with the ball at his feet. He's so quick and shifty. And maybe just trying to make amends. Oh, he got by home so easily. He's had the best of home so far. And is still able to create a chance. It's from distance. That deflection had to come off of Pobega. That could have made things really tricky for Ravaglia.
Referee just getting things sorted off the ball. Orsolini with the appeals towards the referee. Second meeting between these two clubs. You mentioned the 2-0 that Bologna won earlier this year. The goals coming from Thijs Dallinga and John Lukumi. Dallinga, who is on the bench tonight. For Bologna, still not won a ton of games against Napoli. Just 2 of their last 12 in all competitions. They do have the success from earlier this year, and Bologna are starting to find success against a variety of bigger opponents, as it were. At one point, we're right in there for the Scudetto, but they've gone winless in the last 3 in Serie A. Seen them fall off the pace a bit. Now even further off of that top 5 race after Juventus beat Roma at the weekend. Orsolini bending across in. And trade all of it, though, for more silverware.
Yeah. Orsolini has that same kind of play style as, think of an Arjen Robben, where the defender knows what he's going to do. He's always looking to cut in on his left foot and whip it in, either go for goal or play one of those low crosses with a lot of pace, and you still can't stop it. He's always able to find that angle.
Miranda saw the run of Cambiaghi and hit it towards that angle, but Cambiaghi bending the wrong way. It does go out for the throw. Amir Rahmani, the center of that back 3. His 6th season at the club, one of those players that's been around for both Scudetti. He's gone through the change in style from Spalletti to Conte and fit well in both. Here's Ferguson.
And Ferguson's playing almost as a regista. We've seen him further up in the formation in the past. He's someone that can give you quite a few goals as well from midfield. He's got a good shot from outside the box, but today he's a lot of times just playing right in between Hegem and Lukumi. It's a bit sloppy, isn't it? Miranda not able to latch on.
Napoli forcing Bologna back and then making it uncomfortable for them to play out as well. Saw a lot of numbers ahead of the ball. No real passing options available there for Hegem. Header well won there from Torbjorn Hegem. Joined in the summer from West Bromwich Albion, was only in England for a year, but did enough to impress and earn move to the next step in his career. Now Cambiaghi in the corner. Politano with a nice backheel touch out of the trouble, and Neres still sending Lukumi flying the wrong way. We'll leave a gap in the middle of defense here now for Bologna. Hoyland, Ferguson will fill it, but Spinazzola tackled off of there by Orsolini. He felt that he hit it off of Spinazzola, but he didn't in the judgment of the referee. It will be a corner.
What a slick counterattack that was, and it all started from Politano's back heel in between the legs of his marker, right as he's by the corner flag. Here it is, right in between the legs of Miranda to get it to Neres, and then Neres blows by Lukumi. That's the second time that Neres has made it difficult for the center back.
Elmas into the heart of that area, away from Lukumi. Has to make amends for that challenge that didn't quite come off against Neres. Bologna in this Super Cup for the first time. Napoli are in this final 2 years ago under Walter Mazzarri. Could not get over the line. Lost to Inter in the final. Just the one goal in it from Lautaro Martinez. It's been since 2014 that Napoli have won this competition. Politano with the dummy from the referee. Spinazzola. And a good challenge in from the Bologna right back, Emil Holm. He's regaining his position at right back. Nice cameo there. And now Odegaard leading the break the other way. Orsolini wants it on the far side. Odegaard will go all the way and try a strike, but difficult to catch it exactly right from that sort of range.
It seemed like Odegaard was just stuck in between two minds. He had options on either side. Maybe could have played it to Cambiaghi a little bit earlier. That's a poor shot. Just drags it well wide of the mark. Seems like he waited too long, ran out of ideas. Cambiaghi's holding out his hands, hoping that the attacking midfielder would have just made up his mind a little bit quicker.
Now what can Højlund do to keep possession here for Napoli? Does well to ward off Hegem, who goes again. It is off Hegem last. Or is it? No, it's a throw in to Bologna. These are the moments where Højlund is on an island that has to figure out a way to invite teammates into the play. Nice touch there from Holm to work himself into some space. There's Miranda. Castro. Now helped out wide. Cambiaghi goes forward and catches a healthy amount of Matteo Politano. Free kick given. Cambiaghi was late. Look at what the referee is seeing in the heart of the pitch. So much talk in the build-up to this one from a Bologna standpoint about just the feeling and the spirit around this team. We saw a lovely view of the tunnel before the players went out for warm-ups. Lorenzo De Silvestri, the captain, getting the team fired up. They're jumping around. They have lots of energy. They feel that as a collective, they make each other better, and that everyone's here to add to the collective spirit of Bologna, a club that largely been a mid-table side. Times been in Serie B as recently as 11 years ago. But now they have found their way. They have a formula. You talked about the develop and sell model that they've employed successfully with some key players going.
It's like an Atalanta model, right? Where you can be a viable business, oftentimes selling your best players and buying smaller pieces and still remaining successful, still challenging for European spots. Last year, going as much as being in the Champions League.
Winning a trophy.
Yeah, Coppa Italia, that's an unbelievable success for Bologna. The fans have had to wait decades.
You'll never forget those scenes when they won. Tommaso Pobega talked about seeing it in the eyes as Højlund backheels in the path of Neres, and well covered there by Hegem.
Yeah, Hegem bailed out Lukumi. It looks like Neres had to step on the Colombian defender once again. Lukumi struggled with the pace and movement of David Neres. Højlund's looked strong with his back to goal, just like he did in the semi-final against Milan.
There's Odegaard getting a bit too much of Stanislav Lobotka. Lovely idea there on the back heel into Neres, but just running himself into trouble. From the free kick, it's going to be a set piece in the favor of Bologna as the referee will trot over towards the dugout. Antonio Conte, who is no stranger to some issues, is going to get a yellow card from Andrea Colombo. Got into it a bit, as did his staff, with the staff of Massimiliano Allegri in charge of Milan in the semi-final as well. And is there an arm up high there from Højlund? That just catches Hegem. Højlund didn't really argue it very much. There's confirmation of the booking towards Antonio Conte. Not a shy character.
No, it's probably the last word used to describe Conte. So many of his players have talked about having to be basically little soldiers for him in training, how rigorous his training camps are in the summer. But you end up being in the best cardio shape of your career. That's what's required to play under his style.
It was really funny reading Noah Lang, who's on the bench tonight. The Dutch national team coach talked about Noah Lang, and he said, well, I checked in on him, and he said, we've been training for 28 days and we haven't seen the ball. We haven't touched the ball once. When are we going to touch the ball?
That's what a lot of players say when they come over from different leagues about how much of the training is without the ball, how so much of it is about tactical positioning. And you know, there is a reputation of the league that even the small sides are well drilled tactically, how difficult it is to score goals. You don't have to take it from me. Cristiano Ronaldo said something similar.
Rasmus Højlund was shifting onto his feet. Hegem with a challenge away, will be a corner.
Carlos Tevez as well. A lot of strikers that have come in from other big leagues have talked about just how difficult it is to find space and score in Serie A. Never really seen any players scoring at the level of what a Messi or Ronaldo were able to do with Barcelona and Real Madrid, going over 55 goals in all competitions. I believe the record is still 36, right? Ciro Immobile scored it, Gonzalo Higuain.
Referee gonna hold play. Now it kind of seems unfathomable for a striker to get that high.
Even to get over 30, there's only a handful of players that have ever gone over 30 in Serie A. That is seen as a remarkable number.
Taken short. Neres giving it back to Politano. Now Lobotka. Will swing across in. Header through that penalty area, and Ravaglia had to make sure that Di Lorenzo wasn't going to get to it. Well handled by the Bologna keeper. Tournament is sponsored by EAFC. We're seeing some EAFC kind of camera angles for these moments. Lukumi. Miranda trying to play up the pitch, but gave it away. A couple times Bologna have tried to play out and have found it difficult. Nearing on the half hour. Napoli 0, Bologna 0 in this Super Cup final. Both teams winning their semi-final. Napoli on Thursday against Milan, and Bologna on Friday on penalties against Inter. Who's going to take home their second piece of silverware this year? Neres in behind. Politano was offside, so he just lets it run.
This is looking like Romelu Lukaku almost the last two games. The way that Højlund's been able to absorb pressure. His first touch is clean. Every time they've played the ball to him back to go. And Hegem's a big boy. Hegem's 6'4". He's strong. She wasn't able to move Højlund as Højlund backed into him. That is very solid target man play. Knowing that Lukaku's back from injury now, he's probably going to get limited time, just like Lorenzo Luca. So have to make the most of his opportunities now, Højlund.
Spinazzola. Competition for places is something that Conte is looking for to continue to add to his group, as he always wants. More players, more competition, more fresh legs. They certainly need it in the midst of their push to advance in the Champions League. Neres, lovely control, plays for McTominay, touch towards that byline, Ravaglia La Palma, able to deny that service, but McTominay with tight control in the penalty area. Those are the sorts of things that catch fans maybe of English football off guard. Didn't see McTominay in those sorts of positions and showing off that level of skill. He has been transformed in Naples. Brilliant episode of Kicking It, our interview series with Kate Scott, available on our CBS digital platform, showing off just the range of what McTominay has done in Naples. Neres trying to play in behind. Cambiaghi. Miranda. Hegem. And Miranda trying that direct ball in behind. This time, Odegaard
bit of a trip
was bumped into there, but the feeling was that Odegaard initiates the contact. It is a free kick in the favor of Napoli.
And Odegaard's a big attacking midfielder, 6'2", rumbling forward, tangle of legs between him and Amir Rahmani. There's one of the crosses played in. McTominay, such a narrow angle. Ravaglia puts out a hand, but once again just shows you Napoli the success they've had in those wide areas today. Constantly finding space to play in good balls. Clearest chance of the day through that Elif Elmas one-on-one that he just flashed wide of that near post.
Pobega unable to get that pass off around the corner. Bologna really struggling in attacking areas, just 2 touches in the Napoli box and no shots on target as yet.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Napoli have normally create so much danger from Orsolini and then whoever's on the left, whether it's Jonathan Rowe or Nicolo Cambiaghi. But today it's been well dealt with. Just haven't really seen the usual Bologna, the one that we saw in Serie A when they were at home 6 weeks ago against Napoli and won 2-0. Bologna so often look relentless under Vincenzo Italiano, both in their pressing and their monopolizing of possession.
Orsolini. And again, not been able to get on the ball and influence proceedings much. The winger.
And it's hard, and Napoli's so good at dropping back into this low block and preventing Bologna from doing what they do best, is getting those one-on-ones in space.
Miranda turning inside of Neres, trying to slide it into the area, but Di Lorenzo is well placed, and Lobotka wins the free kick.
And Neres has consistently dropped back to help out, because that is a tricky combination. Cambiaghi and then those overlapping runs from Juan Miranda, who's very good going forward, good left foot, always plays in a good ball.
Ferguson. Pobega will lift that cross in, but again, easy work there for Vanja Milinkovic-Savic, who's not had a great deal to do. He's fit right in, being the starting goalkeeper for Napoli. As Lobotka flips it forward into Elmas. Bologna pressing high. And Napoli find a way through it. Di Lorenzo left it there for Cambiaghi to win back. Orsolini now get running and has some help with him. Nice turn. Now Cambiaghi could only really go towards his right. Pobega and Holm arriving. This is better. What now? Look at the number of blue shirts in the way. Cross delivered away from Juan Jesus. Pobega have to open the play up a bit here.
There's not many teams that are more organized when they drop back like this as Napoli.
Cross delivered, Milinkovic-Savic.
That's all you can do, is just everything's forced out wide. You whip in balls. Castro's only about 5'9". That's not where you get the best out of him. That's a game that's more suited to Thijs Dallinga, the Bologna target man.
You can hear Vincenzo Italiano shouting from the dugout. Højlund, lovely flip into the path of Neres, and in behind for Spinazzola.
Is going berserk. What a reflex save there, and Spinazzola did everything right. He's just going for that cheeky chip. One-on-one, great play here, intricate, quick. What a touch, the back heel from Højlund to play in Neres. The run from big Spinazzola, and he's just going for the right kind of finish at the end. That was the only thing available to him, is just to lift it over the top of Ravaglia, who's so quick at getting that big paw up. And you can see what it meant to him, but how about that intricate link-up? The build-up was wonderful from Napoli once again, and Højlund again. I'm so impressed with his touches. That's more like it.
And we've talked a fair bit, haven't we, over the course of the last year and a half since Conte's taken over at Napoli, about the quality of the play and is the football good. But I think on the two big chances we've seen tonight from Napoli, for Elmas and for Spinazzola, some really intricate good stuff. Neres, who's been a wonderful creator at the heart of it all, who's also done the hard yards defensively, receives again into Højlund, wants to give it back to him, but too many Rosso-blue shirts in the way, and Miranda lifting to safety. Two genuine opportunities. Elmas sent wide, and Spinazzola denied by Ravaglia. Spinazzola back on it now with McTominay.
Saw Ciro Immobile there on the bench for Bologna. He is a local boy. He's from the region of Naples, town of Torre Annunziata, about 20 kilometers away from the Napoli city center.
Rachmani lifted towards Højlund, away from Gianlucumi.
And Romelu Lukaku itching to get back.
Neres goes. David Neres. A goal in the semi-final. And an absolute highlight reel. Showstopper in the final. Wow. Napoli lead in the Supercoppa final.
World-class finish from distance. Does it get any better than that? What a curling effort. What bend on that ball. He's been unplayable today. He's gotten the best out of Lukumi. And here no one steps up. They think that he's going to go for the pass. Instead he says, you dare give me the space. And he curls it in absolute beauty right into the top corner. Unbelievable hit. Oh, and Ravaglia got the slightest touch, but it was so well placed. It's just a fingernail on it. Oh my goodness, look at the way that that ball had to come back in. I mean, does it get any better than that? That is simply world class. What else can you say about that? All the defenders are backing off, no one's stepping in front of Neres. And Neres, who's so often capable of the spectacular, just gives us a highlight reel finish in what's been a very positive Napoli display. They've had by far the best chances, and It's been deserved. It's been coming. Look at that. You can even buy it.
I think that's one that you'd probably want to have if you're a Napoli fan.
Napoli fans are scrambling to get that QR code. It's going to be a lot of bids, I think, coming in, and a goal that could be worth a trophy.
And no more than they deserve for their first half performance.
My God, what a finish. Those are the finishes that make you fall in love with the sport, aren't they?
Get you off your seat.
That's an EAFC finish. That's what I used to spam when I played the game.
R1 circle.
Finesse shot from outside the box.
Orsolini. And finally a shot on target from Bologna, forcing Milinkovic-Savic to work. Was probably hoping for a rebound to be profitable for a teammate, but the Napoli keeper handles well.
And I think that's what Italiano's complaining about, wondering how is it possible that Neres was given all that room.
Hoyland now, well handled, tries to give it to Politano.
Oh,
and it's a corner. Last second covering from Bologna.
Man, I don't know if Hoyland's been doubling up on the creatine in the weight room, but he looks strong. He looks sharp with his touches. It's this immovable object when he's back to goal, and today he's played the target man role so well in the link-up, bringing others into the play. Two really impressive games for Rasmus Hoyland.
Doesn't have a goal to show for it today, but still putting in key performances. Politano, Lobotka is in acres. Rather play a short pass, though. Back to Jesus. Plenty of shouting coming from the dugouts as Politano fights the challenge there of Cambiaghi. I'll have to play it off the corner flag. It's kind of stuck here, trying to get it up to lift it away, but Neres now handles and glides beyond Popega. Politano, Lukumi in the way, but it'll come kindly for Elif Elmas. There's Elmas. Will get turned and play back with Spinazzola. His cross away from Ferguson. Napoli, though, looking the more likely to go get a second than Bologna to get an equalizer.
Yeah, Napoli have been the superior side. They've been brilliant today. So well transitioning into that defensive shape. When they've attacked, it's been purposeful, incisive, and they've had such clear opportunities. You could easily say it should have been 2-0. That finish from Elmas that he just played wide.
Pobega. And now home to an early cross, but that's a poor delivery. De Laurentiis will appreciate the performance from his team.
A Napoli fan just reached out to me saying that you're their favorite play-by-play. Him and his son. You're becoming a bit of a legend in the Napoli community, Chris, with calls like this one. I mean, this one really got us out of our seat. That is one of the finer finishes that you'll see anywhere in Europe all season long. Hard to blame Ravaglia. He got just a fingertip to it, but Neres placed it so well.
And now Hoyland's off to the races. Hegem had a pull. He might be the last defender. Oh, it's a yellow card.
Ooh.
I think Hegem might just have gotten away with one. Hoyland thought it should be a sending off for Torbjorn Hegem, and this will be examined.
I think this is time to bring in our own Christina Onkel for a deep dive. As you can see there, Hoyland saying he was off to the races, gets pulled back a little bit.
Christina, where do you judge this last man offense with the defenders that were surrounding him, the position Hoyland was in?
Yeah, one of the biggest factors that we'll be taking a look at is the distance to the goal, right? You have to hit all four considerations: distance to the goal, direction, defenders, as well as, possession. Here he's fighting for that possession, but it's because he's to the far right-hand side of the field on that end. It's going to give enough time and distance to the goal that a defender can make a meaningful play on it. So therefore, yellow card is the correct decision. And you can see a check complete from VAR.
Thank you, Christina. Perhaps a bit fortunate there for Hegem. Politano sends a cross in away from Castro, who's the striker in the game, but has been more involved defensively. Di Lorenzo on the byline trying to get that hooked cross in, but unable to get purchase on it.
Christina's on fire today, huh? As usual.
Bringing the expertise. I think it is about that situation. It doesn't look as though Højlund was cleared through.
Right, a clear-cut chance. Last man to goal.
Højlund, McTominay. Højlund so good receiving the ball, facilitating the play for Napoli, and just the 1 minute added at the end of the first half. Lobotka. Elmas. Vanja Milinkovic-Savic. Lifted forward. Home. And there is the halftime whistle. Napoli created a couple of wonderful chances, but really it was a chance from nothing that David Neres smacks into the top corner with a wonderful strike.
Ferguson's a player who has scored quite a few goals. Had 13 goals in his first 2 seasons at Bologna. Before that at Aberdeen, scored 16 goals in a season, so he's definitely got that.
And we saw a Bologna that really struggled in that first half, and Lukumi already running himself into trouble. Just about wins a goal kick, but you can see the way that Napoli have set up defensively, it's made it almost impossible for Bologna to build out.
And especially Napoli with a 1-0 lead, it's going to be very much a lot of the same. But the transition from offense to defense from Napoli, the way that they got those 2 lines close together, it made it almost impossible for Bologna to get any clear-cut chance. Castro was pretty much invisible. And this man right here, David Neres, maybe the man of the match. Look at him again.
Ole from David Neres, out wide to Elmas. Running hard at home, cutting inside, but ran sort of into the pressure rather than away from it. Well, slid away there from home, and Castro dispossessed. The young Argentine, 21 years of age, has had a bit of a rough go up front tonight. Just hardly had any involvement in the game. Just as a confirmation, it was Jens Odgaard who made way for the introduction of Nicola Moro. So halftime change made by Vincenzo Italiano. Now Højlund cutting inside with his right and forcing Ravaglia to work. Did well to get down to his right, and the Bologna goalkeeper has been busy tonight.
He's made some sensational saves. The one on Spinazzola's little chip. And here, how quick is Højlund just to get by Nicola Moro. And his fresh legs, just trying to catch Ravaglia by surprise. Doesn't go across goal. Just trying to drill it to that near post. I think Højlund's been really sharp the last few games. A little nutmeg from Neres on Pobega. Neres has been unstoppable. Also what he did to Lukumi in that first half.
Elmas delivers to the back post. The header is on, and again Rahmani has to tip over. This time Rahmani, the defender, forward from the corner.
If it wasn't for Ravaglia, it could have easily been 2 or 3 for Napoli. That one looked to just be dipping underneath the crossbar. Strong header for Amir Rahmani, beating Hegem. Such a solid performance by Napoli on both ends.
He can touch you. Yeah, no foul.
Referee speaking in English there with Rasmus Højlund.
He said,
Lukumi again gone down.
Said he can touch you. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. But is the contact enough to warrant a foul? That is a physical sport at the end of the day. The referee trying to remind Højlund.
Di Lorenzo taking short. Politano. And now Neres lifting in. Man down on the back post. And the referee will give a goal kick. It's Rahmani who stayed down. The question is, was he fouled in the midst of that cross as he grabs at the back of his head? And here is a look at the coming together Oh, there's a little bit in it there from Tommaso Pobega. Forearm is out.
Yeah. A little bit of aggression, you're right.
Let's bring in our rules expert, Christina Unkel. Is there a suggestion? Well, we've played on, but did you think that that's a fair enough decision?
I think it's a fair enough decision. The first glance, naturally, as VAR, you're going to be checking for any and all penalties, so that was checked, but there wasn't enough there that I could see from those 2 or 3 different angles we saw, including the ref cams.
Thank you, Christina. It's a strong challenge in there from Nicolo Cambiaghi, and it is going to eventually be pulled back for a free kick. Cambiaghi was actually fairly fortunate to escape a yellow card earlier in the game, but now takes his booking. And Nicolo Cambiaghi, who's on 3 yellow cards in Serie A, got the ball, but then got a healthy chunk there of Di Lorenzo on the follow-through. Antonio Conte continues to prowl the sideline, looking to add to his career trophy cabinet. Has won 5 Scudetti. Neres now running here at Miranda, gets a cross away, but blocked there by Orsolini. Neres gave it away. Castro has to find an exit pass. Does well, but Napoli now set back up in their defensive shape. More.
Probably see Italiano making a few more changes, because right now it's just not worked for Bologna. They've had a tough time getting anything through this Napoli low block. Even now, look how quickly Napoli retreat, everyone behind the ball. And there aren't many teams more organized than Conte's sides when they're up a goal. It's going to require something special in possession from these Bologna players. Really quick 1-2 combinations.
Now Hegem and Holm bending a cross in, while nodded away there from Juan Jesus. And Lukumi trying to keep Napoli in their own end, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're in any kind of advantage. When Napoli have sunk into their low block, it has not made it any easier for Bologna to find space. Holm needs a window to get across the way. Does eventually. Juan Jesus with a big leap. Nodding away. It is a throw rather than a corner. Right by that flag. Napoli did talk about avenging that defeat. Giovanni Di Lorenzo saying that game is still fresh in our minds. So that corner, that cross gets swung in. Orsolini and Holm just trying to send it through, and Ferguson caught it, but got well underneath it and sailed into the stand.
No, whatever Holm meant there, it did go straight into the path of Ferguson. The ball was coming with so much pace, though. It was difficult for Ferguson to redirect it on goal. Gets it nowhere near, and that's pretty much been the storyline for Bologna today. That final ball has lacked a lot of quality. Here is Ciro Immobile, the veteran striker, who has so many goals in his career, especially in Serie A. And I think most Serie A fans would be shocked to hear the amount of goals that he scored in his entire career. He's, last I checked, over 300 goals in all competitions, which is a staggering number, Chris.
Mention has that joint record, scoring 36 goals in one season for Lazio. It has steadily climbed down, converted that winning penalty in the semifinal, something he desperately needed.
And he's coming off a great season when he was at Besiktas in the Turkish Super League. He scored 19 goals.
As Højlund runs off the shoulder of Hegem. Højlund now cutting inside. Højlund! And another save from Ravaglia. 6th of the game.
I think the one on Spinazzola, though, really was worth a goal. That one was straight to him. But Ravaglia has kept Bologna in the game. All it's going to take is a one shot, one set piece. Napoli probably feeling hard done by that they haven't added a second or third by now.
Ferguson. And again. Playing now with Nicola Moro. And out for Spinazzola.
I think we'll see Immobile coming in soon. Castro's not been effective so far. And that's not the way to get the best out of him. Castro back to goal. That's not his strength. Amir Rahmani is going to clean those up all day long.
And Elmas getting in the way, just making himself a nuisance. Every Napoli player doing just that. Lovely turn there from Orsolini. Juan Jesus trying to pull him to the floor, but on he goes. Orsolini back post. And Milinkovic-Savic from Ferguson.
Oh, what a ball. Somehow was able to find Ferguson unmarked at the back post. Orsolini's left, picking out the wide open man. And that was the chance. That's what we said. All it's going to take is one cross, one set piece. And Ferguson heads it straight into the path of Vanja Milinkovic-Savic from point-blank range.
Mike Grella talked about in the pre-match show Juan Jesus potentially being vulnerable on the left side of defense. We saw him get beat there.
And the move to bring Ferguson further up, he's instantly been more dangerous than Odegaard. So it looks like putting in Moro for Odegaard and moving Ferguson further forward is paying off at the moment. That was Bologna's best chance of the game.
He's well placed, but should he be doing better?
He should.
A free header from 6 yards out.
I think he'd admit that to us as well.
Hegem handling Hoyland better that time. Here's Miranda. Good pressing there from Di Lorenzo, but just about escaping Cambiaghi, but he comes all the way to the edge of his own area just to keep the play going. Hegem needed to get that first touch right and did. Ravaglia now putting Lukumi under pressure, but Neres has it off him. Neres chipping it behind the goal. He's got his second, and David Neres continues to be the star of the show, creating a goal all on his own. He might have single-handedly won Napoli this Supercoppa as they add to their lead just as Bologna were getting into the game. 2-0 to the Partenopei.
One of David Neres' greatest performances in his career in a cup final. It already gave us a goal of the season contender, that lovely finish from outside the box. And here, it's his pressure. Ravaglia puts his defender in a really tough situation. Sometimes you just got to boot it up the pitch. Trying to be too cute here, playing against a Napoli high press. And right there, that's not on the defender. This is Ravaglia really playing with fire. Didn't feel the pressure from Neres. Napoli picked their moments to press high, knowing that Bologna want to play it short. And as he saw Ravaglia coming out quickly, Neres shows great awareness, composure right away to see the goalkeeper coming out. It's another chip, but this time Ravaglia doesn't get a touch onto it. David Neres, sensational today. And Ravaglia, he's been good for Bologna. He's made some big stops, but that was on him.
And look at Spinazzola enjoying it with his teammates. Fantastic performance from Napoli, but Bologna were getting into it. But you can see how for Antonio Conte's side, it has not been just about sitting deep and defending. It has been about being aggressive and making life uncomfortable, especially for teams like Bologna that want to play. Just getting back to David Neres, he only started 13 games in Serie A last season. Wasn't really starting at the beginning of this, as Pobega will play and invite the challenge from Jesus. I I think a major difference you see from Neres is his defensive application. It is a requirement to play for Antonio Conte. He is showing that, both chasing back and helping Politano and Di Lorenzo, but also in pressing to win in that moment there, and it produces a goal.
It's been the perfect game for Neres. You're right, he's tracked back to help keep quiet that side of Cambiaghi and Miranda. Haven't seen much going down the left of Bologna. And David Neres right now is looking like one of the first names on the team sheet for Napoli.
One of the best players in the league. He's got 6 goals now in the month of December.
Chris, you're right. It's time we start putting him in the conversation. And the Saputo family, the big man at the top of Bologna, hailing from Canada. His team has already overachieved. They've been a viable business. They've won a Coppa Italia, made the Champions League. But this was against the Scudetto winners, always a tough task. And there is a clear difference in quality on the pitch today. Not like what we saw in Serie A back in November.
Is this an indication of what's to come from Napoli in the second half of the season?
That's another good point from you, Chris. They've always been in the mix. They've had a lot of injuries, but right now weathering the storm.
Right now set third in Serie A, Napoli. As Elmas gets in the way. McTominay. And Neres having to wrestle there, but given away. Now Moro forward into Ferguson. And Lukumi is well forward there from center back. Holm. Kind of have to throw everything at it if you're Bologna at this point. Doesn't really matter if you lose the final 2-0 or 6-0. Have to go try chasing that equalizer. Cambiaghi. And see Napoli so well positioned all over the pitch. Doesn't matter who receives and where. There's 2 and 3 surrounding them. Torbjorn Hegem. Lewis Ferguson. And Miranda. Awkward deflection off of Lobotka, and Juan Jesus now will just slide to safety, but turns out to be a pass for Politano, and you can see a real measure of confidence from Napoli in the team. They're comfortable on the ball right now. They want it. Every player on the pitch ready to aid a build-up and lead a break, as Elmas does now. Threatening that run beyond Emil Holm, but instead play with Spinazzola. As well have we seen Napoli play for some time over the course of this Super Cup. Elmas wrestling there with Holm. A bit too much in it there from Elmas, although it is the native of North Macedonia who tries to sell contact at the end of it.
He was holding on to Holm as Holm was trying to just box him out. He got stomped on there. Right on the heel. There's definitely contact. As he felt a few of the studs. There's a look at that short pass from Ravaglia. That was just putting Lukumi in a world of trouble. The goalkeeper has to feel that press and has to make it easier for his defenders, and he gave it straight to David Neres, who is rewarded for his pressure today. Apart from that wonderful first half goal, here's another one. We saw the cool side-footed finish. How about the Cucchiaio, the chip at the end?
Head and hands for the Scottish captain, Lewis Ferguson. David Neres with
a rare smile from Neres. Normally he's got quite the poker face, but he knows it. This is a truly special day for him. Unbelievable individual performance.
And now Moro. Ferguson. Can't say that Bologna haven't stepped up in big games. They beat Napoli in the league earlier this season, but think on this sort of form, Napoli are incredibly difficult to beat. Whipped in by Orsolini, away rather easily there from Lobotka. Looking to make it 2 trophies in a year. Antonio Conte basically guarantees you silverware, in charge of the club at almost any level. Away for a corner. It's really only at Tottenham where he couldn't get it to work. Miranda lifting in. Lobotka won the header. And Ferguson trying to keep that pressure on. Spinazzola heads away. Miranda will go again. Will cut inside though. We'll try again. Again Spinazzola. And now Neres can get running again. Can he release Højlund? Sends it into the space.
Oh, he's quick.
It's the beating there of Moro. Now gets beyond him. Højlund towards whose hat-trick was on. Just a bit too much on the pass.
This is becoming such a fun duo, Neres and Højlund. Really learning and understanding one another's positioning. And it just needed a better ball.
And it was nearly a poor backwards header there from Di Lorenzo. Milinkovic-Savic, though, tracking well off his line. Even mistakes are covered today by the players in the blue and white of Napoli.
What a brilliant move that was from Højlund to get by Moto with ease. And then he saw the run of Neres. He was unselfish, but it was just overhit. It's maybe the first mistake that Højlund's made today.
Cambiaghi trying to release the play. Couldn't quite find the ball towards the overlapping Miranda. And now McTominay releasing Politano into all sorts of space. A smart run from the wingback. Politano towards Højlund, but Hegem able to anchor that 6-yard box and head clear, but Napoli look a threat every time they go forward.
Especially now that Bologna have to commit so many bodies forward. Napoli are just doing so well vertically on the counter. And when everything's going right for you, even Vanya can start pulling off the tricks. This is the referee's vision of that last counterattack. Neres and Højlund. Look at this run here from Neres. He's perfectly in position there. He's got the step on his man. Just wasn't the best ball in from Højlund.
Decent pace shown there by the referee. Corner in, easily dealt with there from Politano, who was low into the near post. Neres wins it back. You wonder at this point how he has anything left in his legs. He's given so much. I wonder if and when a player like Noah Lang might replace him. Elmas receiving in space, has had a good chance to score in this game, but has not added to it. In towards Højlund, who will try and find the angle in that near post, but got it all wrong.
He's going for the spectacular there. He was trying to pick out that top corner at the near post. Good run again from Højlund. Looks around. It's not an option that he really likes, so he's just going for power. Try to pick out that near post. Antonio Conte is not having any of it.
Number 37, Spinazzola.
And it's Miguel Gutierrez that will come in along with Noah Lang.
Number 3, Gutierrez for Napoli.
So like for like, Gutierrez, the big money signing from Girona over the summer, was a bit of an assist machine in La Liga the last 2 seasons. And Noah Lang is another attacking weapon, the left winger who likes to cut inside. Good dribbler. And here are the changes for Bologna. Dalinga, this makes sense. He's a big 6'4" target man. Against the low block, Bologna will have more of a target to aim at. Given that everything's being forced out wide. Rowe should be coming in for Cambiaghi. That would be the obvious change there.
Yeah, Ferguson and Cambiaghi the ones who make way.
Okay, so it is
Player out,
Castro now playing off of Dalinga.
Player in, number 11, Rowe. Player out, number 19, Ferguson.
Rowe.
Player in, number 24, Dalinga.
And Dalinga unable to keep that one in play for Jonathan Rowe. Was kind of expected he might be the one who starts with the injury to Bernardeschi, but was eventually get the start, joined at the close of the transfer window from Olympique de Marseille after a significant fight with a teammate, Adrien Rabiot, now of Milan. Both players having to leave the club as a result. So a Rowe can bring to this encounter. Ravaglia, out wide for Juan Miranda. Oh, it's a poor ball. Højlund has it. Højlund didn't give it to Lang. Does eventually come for Lang, who's shoved there by Lukumi. Referee says no. That would have been on the blooper reel of Juan Miranda, who is thankful that Højlund couldn't do enough with it.
Oh, he completely shanked that clearance, Miranda. What a gift.
And now Castro making the run in behind. First time he's really been put in this sort of position.
Oh, he's a two-man front line now, Castro, so he's got someone else to take up the attention of the center backs. Let's see if this opens up things for him. It's going to be difficult, though, with such limited space in the box.
And Di Lorenzo conceding the corner. That was a big chance for Napoli to go make it 3 and put the game to bed. I think the frustration would be from Lang that he didn't get it quicker. Lifting in, one there by Højlund on the back post. Castro and Milinkovic-Savic didn't really know what to do there. It kind of comes awkwardly off him. Maybe another corner, a couple of odd mistakes there from Di Lorenzo and Milinkovic-Savic. You know, Antonio Conte will be unforgiving in his assessment of those two moments, especially if Bologna concede, or rather score, from this set-piece opportunity. Into the back post. Tracking it there was Dalinga, and it was a strong claim from Milinkovic-Savic. There's some of the hierarchy from the league. Some talk about maybe...
It's Cristiano Giuntoli to the left, isn't it? The former Napoli and Juventus sporting director. Things didn't go as well for him at Juventus, but he was the architect of the Luciano Spalletti winning side. Most notable, the signings of Kvicha Kvaratskhelia from Dinamo Batumi in the Georgian League. And look at where he's off to now, winning Champions Leagues at PSG.
Hell of a scouting find.
Yeah, it's just a shame that that partnership between Kvara and Osimhen only really lasted for that one season. After the Scudetto, Osimhen was shipped. That's kind of been the history for Napoli. A lot of their big-time strikers do eventually tend to be sold for smaller pieces. Look at what happened with Cavani and Higuain.
Politano take the strikeout from long distance, and it wasn't too far away. Went for that near post. And Ravaglia has been incredibly busy tonight, seeing that one go off target. Well off target. Vincenzo Italiano, who can be a fiery character in the dugout, is showing his frustration with this performance. Nowhere near you would expect. Wonder how much plans are altered with the absence of Federico Bernardeschi, who really started to find his form. They have a like-for-like replacement for his level of talent. We'll have to figure it out over the next few weeks. We'll close the Europa League phase in the middle of January. Back to work in the league at the weekend, home against Sassuolo. Both these two teams will face newly promoted opposition who have impressed. Cremonese is the away trip for Napoli at the weekend. After this brief sojourn to Saudi Arabia. Coming forward, Pobega. Miranda has come central to open the space up here for Jonathan Rowe. Out wide, will try the cross, comes firing through, but no one there to respond to it. Who did it come off of last? It is a corner in the favor of Bologna. Difficult to know when you're in the good old days, but I think for Napoli, these very much are. You have the days of Maradona, and you have the days of this time. Rowe with shifty feet, but the effort well into the stand.
Well, it looked good until the shot. Just wonder how deflated Bologna are. Every chance has come from well outside the box. They haven't gotten anything clear-cut inside the box near the 6. And that's a testament to the organization of Napoli today.
Lang with some nice skill, drawing some cheers from the crowd. Now Neres made a good run, which Lang could not spot, and Gutierrez sliding out for the throw. Antonio Conte was well out of the drawn lines of the dugout, going all the way down to try and help coach his team. Rowe. Awkward back pass again. This time it's Højlund lingering around Ravaglia, who takes no chances on this occasion after his earlier chance led to the Napoli goal. Neres was offside. Not quite prototypical away games for Napoli, but they've really struggled away from the Maradona this season. They've lost 4 times away in Serie A and 3 times away in the Champions League. So while more of a neutral ground, still evidence they can do it without the boisterous Maradona faithful behind them. Two needed performances for Antonio Conte as this second half of the season approaches. Both switched out towards Riccardo Orsolini. Left for Holmes, first time delivery, forces the block in from McTominay. Castro down, here's Rowe. He's twice had chances to strike, but wild and out of control.
He's the legend. One of the all-time greats. Roberto Baggio. Hopefully they're treating him like absolute Italian royalty. Here's a look at that ball that he caught on the bounce. Rowe just trying to make anything happen, almost a desperation, right? Shooting from any angle, and it's so difficult to get a clear-cut chance. You might as well just take pot shots now from distance. And that's the frustration that Bologna felt, and you can see it in some of the shots that they're taking. That element of desperation.
Neres first time, Gutierrez gets there ahead of home, the challenge in, it'll be a free kick just outside of that penalty area, and a yellow card shown to the Swede who got beat.
It's a few times that home has had someone running behind him. That's what led to some really good efforts by way of Napoli. It's been caught high up. And here the fresh legs of Gutierrez just comes onto the pitch, gets clipped from behind.
A substitution.
And it's right outside
Napoli.
the box.
Player out, number 7, Neres. Player in, number 30, Mazzocchi.
And Pasquale Mazzocchi will enter, has not played a ton in Serie A.
One of Neres' best performances of his career. I mean, look at this finish.
Could watch it over and over again.
Put it on a wall. Unbelievable. And then the second one, his pressure, wins the ball back. Clever chip over the top of the onrushing Ravaglia. And that's a defensive switch as Conte goes to the fullback Mazzocchi.
McTominay with the acrobatic cross, slow through that area. Well dealt with there from Bologna defensively, but you can see the audacity that McTominay plays with now as Rowe is whistled for the free, or fouled there by Politano, who picks up a booking of his own. Slow down that counter-attack. That was extraordinary from McTominay just to get a cross away.
He's done it over and over again, whether it's been for Napoli or that unbelievable acrobatic goal that he scored for Scotland.
A substitution.
He's been working on that dexterity.
Player out, number 9, Castro. Player in, number 17,
I think in some ways you see there the freedom of a player who is just enjoying life. We talked about with Kate Scott in the episode of Kicking It about that difference between playing for Man United. Said he doesn't want to blame the club, and that it's easy to blame the club maybe for the reason why he didn't fully thrive at United, but I still found something extraordinary here in Naples. It's difficult not to look at the scenario around him.
Bad touch. Well, some of the attacking depth that Napoli have. Dominguez is a very good wide young player. And then the legend of Ciro Immobile. Remember when he broke out in Serie B in 2011-2012 with Pescara, one of the greatest Serie B sides of all time, coached by the legend Zdeněk Zeman. Guess who else was on that team? Lorenzo Insigne and Marco Verratti.
For a team in Serie B.
For a team in Serie B that shattered all sorts of records. That was the coming out party of Immobile. Then he joined Torino, became the capocannoniere, 22 goals. But it was at Lazio where he hit new heights. Seasons with 39, 32, 41 total goals. And it was his consistency. Never got injured. And here is at the twilight of his career. He's 35 now, about to turn 36 in a month and a half. And can he offer Bologna any sort of hope in the final 10 minutes?
Vincenzo Italiano's thrown everything at it, taken off one group of attackers and replaced them with another. Immobile, Dalinga, Dominguez, and Rowe. And now the forward four. Some olays for Napoli in possession now. They're feeling comfortable. Gutierrez goes running, but go out for the throw. And there's David Neres.
I wonder who's going to win this. Ravaglia. How did he sneak in there?
To be fair, he's made some decent saves in this game.
I mean, he also gave a goal away. You're right,
True.
But I don't think anyone's going to be voting right now for a Bologna player. It is David Neres, without a shadow of a doubt.
Not quite the conclusion of the year, but with just the one more game left to play in 2025, this will be a calendar year that Napoli will never forget. A year in which they won their 4th ever Scudetto. Add to it with another piece of silverware. Look like they're genuinely building something under Antonio Conte. There was real fear that he might leave in the summer, go to Juventus. But enough of his fears of player acquisitions were assuaged. It's a 2nd year now in charge. And the question will be, what kind of push can the Partenopei make going towards the second half of the season in Serie A? As we see Alessandro Buongiorno getting ready to come back on. There's Del Piero and El Bobo Vieri.
Del Piero's son as well. On the right of your screen, he's a footballer as well. He knows he loves the camera, doesn't he? They both do. Both have been with us on our air at CBS.
And now Buongiorno will be a welcome reintroduction into the team. Juan Jesus will make way. He's done the job. While Buongiorno and Bukema have been recovering from injury.
Further set up shop. Buongiorno's had a few injury problems the last 2 years since he came over from Torino. Left-footed player. Will play on the left-hand side of the defense. And what a defense it is for Conte when he has everyone healthy and he can go with Rachmani, Bokema, and Buongiorno. You won't find many better units in Serie A.
One there from Dominguez. That challenge allows Noah Lang to come back and win back possession. Talked about Neres' story in terms of needing to put the defensive work in to earn the minutes. Noah Lang coming to learn that story. Have to do the work. And that trophy is 6 minutes away from being Napoli's.
Pretty amazing, isn't it?
McTominay trying from long distance, could come kindly from Højlund. La Ravaglia there first.
Saying the global reach of Serie A. A lot of Saudi Napoli fans in attendance, and we saw loads as well with both Inter and Milan. They played in the semi-final just a few days ago.
Might not have walked into the ground as Napoli fans, but it's pretty difficult to watch what they've turned in over 185, or rather 175 minutes of this Super Cup so far.
Calling them bandwagon fans, Chris?
Well, you know, you walk in, you don't know what your team is, and I think it's pretty clear of the 4 teams that showed up here, which one you'd want to support.
Maybe some of these fans have been Napoli supporters for the last 15 years. You don't know. Big Pocho Lavezzi fans. And Salvatore Aronica. No?
It's possible. In this modern day, it's as much about persuasion as it is about the traditional fans that you know you have. Want to go out and make more. I think Napoli continue to do that day after day with the results and the performances that they've turned in a game like this. Home. And towards that penalty area, and Dalinga unable to settle that one. What didn't happen today for Bologna? Why haven't we seen them at their usual rhythmic best?
I think that's all down to Napoli's, first of all, the individual brilliance of Neres. Lucumi, who's Bologna's best defender, just couldn't handle him either. But then also the defensive organization. When Napoli score a goal in the first half, oh, watch out here.
Højlund running towards that byline, just has to get something away. Header one there by Hegem.
This is what Napoli did to Milan. Milan had no good chances in the semi-final, and same thing with Bologna. Napoli had the 2 lines close together, compact, no space in between the midfield and defense. And Bologna just couldn't work their way into the box, Chris.
McTominay and Gutierrez will bend across it. Oh, and it's over from Matteo Politano.
What just happened?
Both Højlund and Politano were stretching forward, but unable to keep their efforts down on a silver platter for 3-0.
That was a great ball. Is that Gutierrez that whipped it in?
And now Immobile the other way. But Napoli at their best today. Moro wants it from long distance. Nowhere near. That is what Bologna have largely been reduced to from an attacking point of view.
Oh, look at that. A lot of the trouble has come on the right side of Bologna's defense. A few times Holm has had so much separation between him and the Napoli attacker. And just a mix up there. 2 players attacking the same ball. No one got a clean touch. And that would have been the true dagger. Even though you feel like the way things have gone, it would take a Herculean effort for Bologna to get their way back in this one. They've done nothing really to trouble Vania. It's been one header from Ferguson that was straight at the goalkeeper. That was maybe the only good chance that Bologna have mustered up this entire game. And on the other end, I think Ravaglia made a few really good stops, or else it would have been over a long time ago.
Napoli have played some good stuff today, but it really has been a long-distance goal from Neres and a mistake from Ravaglia in distribution that led to the goals. That chance for Politano would have been the reward of good football that we've seen today from the Partenopei, as Lang trying to win a free kick, but instead wins a goal kick. Emil Holm has cut a frustrated figure down that right side. Romelu Lukaku not needed at this Supercoppa. Might have been hoping to get a few minutes, but will be eased back into action upon his return in Serie A. Mentioned their trip to Cremonese at the weekend, and then it's away at Lazio for hosting Verona, and then on January the 11th, one of those title 6-pointers, Inter and Napoli. First against third right now, and it's on January the 11th from 2:45, as that will be claimed there by Ravaglia. And the minimum 4 minutes added at the end of the 90. Perfunctory, really. We largely know which way this game is heading.
4 minutes added time.
Still don't want to take away too much from Bologna. We're not at the races today, but be Inter to get here. Won a Coppa Italia by beating Milan back in May at Stadio Olimpico, one of the great days in the history of the football club. This is a club that has not had too much recent success in terms of winning trophies, and this is still a great opportunity that they've created for themselves, but just came up short here today.
Yeah, Bologna were second best, and it's hard to blame them. Feel like they were playing with house money, already winning the Coppa Italia last year, going up against the Scudetto winners, and Napoli have looked every bit the Scudetto winners, haven't they? Especially with how tough Bologna has made it for so many big teams in Serie A. The way that Vincenzo Italiano always attacks them fearlessly, never changes his style, no matter if he's playing against a provincial or the favorites in the league.
Headed away from Hegem. Lang still playing with the purpose of looking for a third goal for Napoli. His teammates, though, find to maintain a bit of possession here. Back to Milinkovic-Savic, Lobotka. You can just see the calm in the Napoli play when he's back in that midfield. Go back to when that midfield was Elmas and McTominay. Look at the space here now for Politano. Why not a third? Slid to Noah Lang. Lang trying with his left boot towards that near post. Couple of square options were on, but Lang wanted the glory and came up empty.
Maybe a bit selfish here. Look at the two runs at the opposite side. That was a really good ball there to find him. Tight angle for Lang. And had he just squared it, he had that angle in between Ravaglia and Holm. And once again, that side of Holm has received all the abuse today from Napoli going forward. They've found so much space, Napoli, down that side.
Rowe wants to cut inside. Tries another shot from long distance. His third attempt of the game, and none of them particularly close to finding the back of the net.
No, and again, it just carves out a team that's very frustrated, right, and desperate. And at this moment, you feel like it's probably the last chance that Bologna will have. Too little, too late. Should be very proud of even getting to this stage. A reminder of what Bologna were able to achieve last season, winning the Coppa Italia, beating Milan in the final. And the festive atmosphere is already starting on the Napoli bench.
I think we've pretty well known for about a half hour now that this game is only going one way. Holm and Lang wrestling there. Free kick to Bologna. They are ready for the full-time whistle. Lukumi. Miranda. And the striking from Pobega. Flashing across Vanja Milinkovic-Savic. Referee indicating something is being checked. And there goes the full-time whistle. The reigning champion